We're a week into Season 19, and I know that I'm feeling quite comfortable, having firmly established myself in the mire of mediocrity. But with my rank of Bronze 3, and the ranked distribution the way it is, I'm at least better than half of all ranked players. Which means there's probably something I'm doing right, and you're doing wrong. And if you follow along for the next few minutes, I'll talk you through 5 things you might be doing that are holding you back from being better than me. Which, well, let's face it, that's a pretty low bar to pass, so you should probably be able to.
Dead.
Tip 1. Basic movement. Now, Apex is a game of movement, which is basically the reason I play this instead of anything else. So if you don't know some basic movement mechanics, you're really doing yourself a disservice. Here are 3 of them. Number 1, run faster with your gun holstered. I don't know how many randos I play with who run around with their gun out and no enemies anywhere close. The game even tells you this when you're running in the ring with your gun out, and people still do it. Stop it. Get help. Number 2 is slide jumping. When you slide, you gain a momentary speed boost, and then you can jump at the end of that speed boost, which makes you go a bit faster for a little bit longer. Slide too late though, and you'll end up going a bit slower for a bit longer, making you slow down overall. This is by no means an advanced movement technique, but if you're not doing it, well, you should start. Number 3 is to pay attention to your surroundings. If you're running away from a team because you're too sucky to actually take and win fights and find that the best way to level up is to run from everyone and rat, well then this one is especially for you.
John just adios the fuck out of there.
Yes, I did. When your teammates die and you flee the scene like baby after a bank heist, well, the best thing for you to do now is to put something between you and the fools trying to make you part with that sweet RP that you really want. So zigzag your way to success and live your life to the fullest. That is, until you can't run anymore and have to stand and fight, which will punch your ticket back to the lobby, but hey, you got a couple more RP. Now, if you've mastered all of these, then maybe try wall jumping, bee hopping, or if you're on a computer, tap strafing. You can try mantle leaping, zip jumping, or any of the other crazy techniques that are there to make yourself into a Fade clone. Number 2, shoot straight. There's no 2 ways about this. Apex is an FPS, and one of those 3 words is shooter. That means that you'll need to be able to shoot your gun at least a little bit to be able to climb that ladder. There's really only one way to get better at this, and that's to practice. There are some awesome videos on how to specifically do this, some links in the description, but really time in the range is the only thing. But don't just go in there and shoot random guns randomly. That won't help anything. Do like Mike said, and practice the way you want to play. Practice with the guns that you like. Also practice with the best guns, so you have the best chance of succeeding when push comes to shove. Now, the best guns in the meta this season include these. For SMGs, you got the R99, the CAR, and the Prowler. Just pick one of them and use them, they're all great. Now you got battle rifles. The Hemlock and the Flatline are both really good depending on what you want to do. Now, the Hemlock is great for those medium to long range encounters if you can get a 3x or a 2x4 scope on it, and then you shoot it in single fire mode. It's great. And then up close, you've got your burst fire, which can really melt fools. The Flatline is great in those close to mid-range encounters. The problem is you have to learn how to control its recoil. So do that, and the Flatline can be a good one for you. The Havoc can also be a good weapon, but its learning curve is a bit steep, which means I stay away from this gun if I can, because I suck with it. Now for the marksman guns, really they're all good, so I don't know, pick one and get to know it well. I love these. Shotties, well, I avoid these like the plague. LMGs, I avoid these harder than shotties. And snipers, well, see shotties and LMGs. They're like your aunt's Christmas fruitcake. They might be nice to look at, but man, they're bad. Now, you could devote hours a day in the range getting better, but really all you need is a few minutes before you start every gaming session. Do some focused practice, and you'll find yourself hitting shots more frequently and losing fewer gunfights. Tip number 3, inventory management. How often do you open your inventory and see it looking like this? Well, there are 2 ways to avoid this. First, don't pick up things that you know you won't need. Remember how we decided that snipers and shotties are the worst guns in the game? Yeah? Well then why would you ever pick up attachments that can only work on them? Rule of thumb here, and now watch out for a large Boston Irish woman when you use that phrase, never pick up bolts, sniper mags, or sniper scopes. Just don't do it. It won't help. Second, keep a running tally in your head of how many syringes, medpacks, cells, and batteries you have. I like to keep a maximum of 4 syringes and 2 medpacks no matter my bag size. Cells and batteries do depend on how big your bag is, but typically 8 to 12 cells and 2 to 4 batteries will do you just fine. Third, similar to heals, keep a running tally in your head of how many stacks of ammo you're holding. I like 3 stacks per weapon because I don't use stupid guns like snipers or shotties. If you use them, well then maybe only hold 2 stacks of ammo? I don't know, they suck, don't use them. As you play more games and pay more attention to this, you'll find that you only need to carry a certain amount of ammo. So only carry that and don't pick up more. Fourth, now that your backpack doesn't look like your grandma's purse filled with everything and the kitchen sink, you'll find that you've got some extra inventory space. Now, this is really helpful because you can now carry other useful things like ultimate accelerants and grenades. Lots and lots of grenades. Seriously, you don't know joy until you pepper someone with more grenades than they can handle and they die in a fiery inferno. It's wonderful. You can even get really cheeky with this and share inventory space between teammates. If one of you has a gold bag, use that guy to carry an extra stack of batteries and kits. If someone has a fuse, have him load up on grenades. If one of you is playing an Assault Legend, have them load up on some extra stacks of ammo. Then trade liberally between your team to save some space. Tip number 4, know when to heal. One of my biggest problems is that I use the wrong thing to heal. Cells and batteries are quicker than syringes and medkits respectively, so you should always get your shields up first. Shield swapping is even quicker than healing your shields, so if you're low in a fight, go ahead and swap away from your red armor and pick up that white one. Because last I checked, 50 is more than 0, even though red does look cooler than white. Also, popping 2 cells is slightly slower than 1 battery, and 2 syringes slightly less than 1 kit. So even if you have gold armor, batteries and kits are still the quickest way to fully heal. Now, that being said, 1 cell to get 2 ticks of your shield back can be awesome mid-fight, and gives you that much more ability to get back into the fight. Which brings up the biggest part of this point. When should you heal? Well, now that one's a bit more tricky, but the right answer is always. Or sometimes. Or it really depends. The rule of thumb, again, watch out for her, is that you want to be as healthy as you can be at all times. But the problem is that sometimes you need to help your team more than you need to be healthy. If your team is pushing and you're 1 bar short of full, but the bad guys are on their heels, then not healing and pushing is probably the right choice. If you're trading fire from mid-range and not pushing, well, then keeping up pressure on the other team might take priority over getting yourself topped off if you get dinged. That being said, if you're trading fire and your whole team decides to stop firing and all heal like you're a synchronized swimming team, then you might get pushed and not realize it. And then you're going to end up with a one-way ticket down the elevator to the L floor. See, it works both for lobby and loser, which in this case, you are. You see, the trick here is that you have to learn to read the situation. Sometimes you have to full heal to be the best you can be, but then again, you don't always need full shields to be useful, and sometimes you have to not heal so you can push and win a fight. Tip 5, rotating. Now here's probably the hardest part of Apex. The maps are crazy, the games change so much from second to second, the ring can be and other teams are all going to the same spot you are. How do you handle this? Well, first of all, you need to have a plan. Running around screaming your head off like you're a scared little child won't help the situation. Ever. Seriously, I have 5 small children that live with me. It never helps to scream like that. So just don't do it. Well, what's your plan? I hear you say. And to that I say, good question. Oh, I guess that's why I'm here. I guess here are some principles. 1, high ground is good. Take it if you can. 2, having your back to the ring is good. Having enemies behind you is bad. I like to play the edge of the ring and work my way in, but that can get you into trouble if the ring pulls away from you, so pay attention to the teams around you. 3, cover is essential. If you're playing with Rampart or Newcastle, you can create some cover out of nothing, but nothing will beat a good rock, or building. And speaking of which, the final circle shouldn't ever contain a building or an area where there are 2 levels. This stops the winner from being decided in a heal-off, which used to be a thing. So as the circles are closing in, know that the game will end on open ground, so plan accordingly. 5. If there are more than 2 teams in the final circle, you typically want to be the last team out of cover. You can help this by using your Legend's abilities if you have someone who can create space. A Catalyst Wall, a Jibby Bubble, Newcastle or Rampart Walls, Bang Smoke or Caustic Fart Sauce, even Lifeline's package can come in handy here. Plan accordingly to get the other teams fighting so you can come in and mop up. 6. If your party has a controller legend, then they should be pinging the ring consoles to show you where the rings are going so you can get into position early. Number 7. If your team has a Recon Legend, they should be scanning survey beacons to see where the teams are rotating so that you can either avoid them or sneak up behind them and kill them, because no one wants a fair fight. You've gotten killed enough times with no clue, so karma can go be a bitch for someone else. Number 8. If your team has either a controller or Recon Legend, then you should be rotating so you can hit survey beacons or ring consoles along the way so you can rotate all the better as the game progresses. Games change quickly, so getting more information will only help you. And number 9. Have some idea of who's in charge toward the end of a match. If all 3 of you call out different rotations and then you all go your own way, then really all you've done is taken a detour which will lead you straight back into the lobby to eat another donut while you wait for another match. Be a team. Be vocal, but be willing to be voted down in a split second, because sometimes this game comes down to split-second decisions. Now, the best thing to do here is to find some teammates to play with who have the same goals as you. This will make things easier because you'll be able to communicate with each other throughout your games for things like inventory, legend choice, rotations, playstyle, weapons, and a whole lot more. The more you play with people consistently, the more these decisions will become second nature. That's one reason that teams at the top of the ALGS tend to be teams who've played together for a long time and know each other well. Apex is a team game, so go find a team. I'd offer to play with you, but really you're probably better off finding someone who's actually good at this game. I just pretend. Anyways, hopefully you'll be able to take something from this and go on to do some amazing things. Like, get out of the hellhole that is Rookie and proceed to get hard stuck in bronze like me. That's all I got for you today. See you out there.
Maybe, so long as that guy doesn't turn to his left.
Oh no! And that wall was closing. Oh.
Oh my gosh.
I knew I shouldn't have dropped down like that.
I thought it was going to be the right choice, and then it clearly was not.